Hi, good day. I'm Chinny McKenzie from Mama Knows Best, and welcome to Stories of the Soul. Why go through the pain, and you can absolutely get to the destination quicker by learning from others' experience. I have Mel Woods here, absolutely heroic lady, absolutely wonderful. And she tells us how she went through the court system or the injustice of the court system that allowed her ex-husband to kidnap her child. While now Mel is on her journey to continue her battle and gain financial freedom by using Forex. So I'm going to be speaking to Mel and we'll be going through her experience and she'll be bringing the wisdom of her experience to you. So welcome to Mama Knows Best Story of the Soul. And Mel Woods is going to join us. Mel, thank you so much for joining us on the Mama Knows Best show. And thank you for sharing your story and your experience. I am so grateful for you to be with us at this time. So Mel,
Yeah,
and I want to hook you through the airwaves right now. Like,
yeah,
talk us through this horrific
yeah.
act where the courts allow your child to be taken and, you know, talk us through, Babs.
Well, okay, so it all started when, the things, there's a breakdown in a relationship, and the ex had disappeared. He wasn't sort of engaging. He had no interest at all
Yeah,
in a family life, and then one day he just decided, he wanted to come back into our lives. And of course, at this point it was very evident that that wouldn't be a good idea,
mm,
as there were some underlying issues, that I was concerned about, like,
yeah,
abusive behavior and things like that. So, and of course, I try to protect myself and try to
yeah,
protect my family and so forth and so forth. And then at some point, when he realized that I wasn't going to give in into allowing him to just walk back into our lives, he decided to use the system as an instrument
yeah,
of punishment, essentially. And so, at some point, it became quite evident that the things weren't going so right. Sometimes whether you can tell, you can feel it, that when you're trying to do things logically,
yeah,
and and the people involved in the situation don't seem to be on par with that type of logic, and perhaps, when it became obvious that the best interests of the child
yeah,
really wasn't paramount.
yeah,
Of course, as a mother, you start to, want to protect your child. So
yeah,
then for me, I started doing some research and realized at some point that, the like the officers of the court, weren't really adhering to people, my daughters and my human rights, in particularly Article 8 of the human rights, which is the right to family life and privacy.
yeah. Wow. Wow, we're going to get Mel back to actually continue telling us about her story, how her ex-husband kidnapped her 2-year-old, and this happened 3 years ago. So, absolutely horrific for any mother. As I've gone through my divorce, there was a time when I thought, OMG, when there was a slight threat to say, you know, if you're okay, if you're not okay, I'll take the boys. That was absolutely scary, just hearing the intent or the possible threat. So, Mel, are you back with us? There you go. Mel is going to join us for sure. So that's good, Mel. We can definitely hear you now. So hopefully we're going to bring you back onto the actual screen. And Mel, I was just saying as well to the listeners that going through my divorce, you know, and I was thinking, and he was clearly playing with my mind. And I'm
Mm,
saying, listen, do you want me
mhm,
to go crazy? Are you trying to
mhm,
purposely make me lose my mind?
mhm,
He said, listen, do you want me to take the children? Because I will take the boys. And
mhm,
the just the intent or the slight threat
mhm.
made me kind of, I was quite fearful, like to say, you know what, that's never happening. But
Yeah.
the threat of it absolutely made me go on my guard, think, okay, I cannot actually even speak about me being any mentally imbalanced in any way because of what
Mhm,
you're sending me through. And
mhm,
just to really think, you know what, I'm going to keep this close to me and I'm not speaking to anyone, much less having to go through the whole court system.
mhm.
You know, as you said, what happened to you. So if you continue that, oh, that would be great.
Yes. So and I hear what you're saying, and I also empathize because I felt the same, and it was pretty much, akin to what I was going through. And as I said, it became quite evident that the ex, rather than communicating appropriately,
Yeah,
and also wanting to be peaceable, was not his thing.
yeah,
And anyway, so back to my realization of what was taking place in the court. As I said, it became quite evident that these, the officers of the court, they were, you know it became clear that after I started to point out to them, not just me, but I think that as I said, I had a couple of people helping me, and they pointed out to the court that they essentially was acting outside of jurisdiction. And because at one point they tried to bring about criminal proceedings in a family court, but of course the judge, yes, of course the
yeah.
judge knew quite well that she didn't have substantial information or a case to proceed with such a proceedings, because
Yeah.
she was threatening things like what you call committal proceedings. She was always using the threat, committal proceedings, to intimidate me
What
and
does that
to.
mean to the everyday man? Because I don't know what that means.
All
What
right. So
means?
the committal proceedings
Yeah.
is something that is again a procedure, or a court procedure, that takes place if someone had committed a crime, but there must be substantive evidence to support that there was an injured party,
Yeah.
and of course, this wasn't a part of the case. And so every time when there was a threat of this committal hearing,
Mm.
it was always adjourned, because it wasn't something that they really had any jurisdiction to participate with, or proceed with, in a hearing that was meant for purely contact arrangements.
Yeah.
So they treated me as if I was on trial.
Wow.
Uh, yes, I was on trial for committing some sort of a crime. And to date, I've had support with making inquiries about, what was the reason for
Yeah.
um, a final decision, and still don't know what it is. Today, they haven't provided any substantive evidence or reasoning, and as I said, and in terms of the situation where my daughter had been kidnapped, I'll just elaborate on that a little bit more for our audience.
Mm.
So this occurred um, at a time when the ex only had an order for contact arrangements.
Yeah.
And prior to the kidnapping, he'd made quite a few attempts, and even with crime reference number issued against him.
Mm.
And this information was brought to the attention of the court, and they ignored it,
Yeah.
paid it no attention whatsoever. And I think it was at that point I realized that that this case was quite unusual,
Yeah.
and that this wasn't going to end well.
Yeah.
And so the very day that he decided he was going to keep my daughter, he did not have a court order giving him rights or permission
Mm.
to to have her. And again, police were involved, and I have also video evidence of police turning up to my home where I've told them, listen, I need your help to go and get my daughter back, just like how you've done it before.
Yeah.
And they refused to help. They refused. And till now I still don't know where to turn,
Yeah.
essentially, because I believe I've exhausted all options that I think that is there,
Mm.
like support groups or whatever it might be, and to try and get some answers, and it's always all these charities like women charities and all these sort of things. It's a joke,
Yeah.
guys. Don't waste your time. Go to this, as again, it's all a front. It's all a front to give the impression that the system supports victims. It actually supports those who do wrong. Okay, and that's just the reality of it.
Mm.
And the only way to get a solution or resolution to sometimes circumstances like this is to put light on the darkness.
Wow.
And thanks to Mama Knows Best, I've been given a platform this afternoon, which I'm sincerely and entirely quite grateful for this. So
Mm.
yeah, that's my story in a nutshell.
With the women's group and all the
Yeah,
other, spaces that you've been for help,
yeah,
when I in a sense, when I was going through my divorce and
yeah.
all of that, as you said, I didn't actually find places that could help, because
Mm,
I didn't actually know where to go. But what
mm,
was beautiful, on the Mama Knows Best show, we had one of our interviewees, and she said, similar circumstances to yourself. She said
mm,
it was, in those groups, she managed to get information that it went
mm,
on to empower her, inform her. But as you know, and as I know, and anyone who's gone through the court system, that for me personally, just to actually get in front of the judge to hear your case, there's
mm,
so many administration
mm,
processes that you have
mm,
to go through, that for me was quite pointless, because
mm,
I had to pay to
mm,
get to this point, to
mm,
see my case, then
mm,
to acknowledge my case, then come up to my case. And for me, it was a thing of whoever had the most money would
mm,
potentially just win, or
mm,
whoever was able to use the court system in
mhm,
for their own gain would
mhm.
win. So would you say that was the same thing that happened? There was bullying within the court system where you was there, what was that experience? How did you find that?
Quite exactly that. That was pretty much on point what you've just highlighted. That yes, there was a lot of that, and as I said, I think although the other party wasn't represented in court, the judge would see to it that outsiders, third parties would get involved, i.e., Kafkas, when there was no need for Kafkas's involvement. And Kafkas, again, and Kafkas would force their way through into the case despite my protest. you
Mm.
know, and they would very evidently would they would you would see them literally supporting the other party, no matter how many times I would um, make reasonable suggestions and offers and counter offers. Again, this was meant to be a contact arrangement,
Yeah.
not not a custody battle, and they inevitably con- turned it into that. You know,
Yeah.
instead of a contact arrangement, it turned it into a custody battle when it had nothing to do with that. It wasn't a divorce hearing.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, so there was that. And as I said, despite the other person's wrongdoings and police getting involved, and there was always a brick wall, always a brick wall. No, Miss Wood, we're not here to talk about or discuss. We're not interested in hearing what you've got to say. We want to see what. Yes, that's what it was. We're moving forward. We're only essentially making a hearing based on what the Kafka's report says. And they'll only pretend. Oh, so Miss, but what is it that you would like? What would you like to happen? And then you say, okay, then well, here's a reasonable way forward. Okay, then right, and they will just dismiss it totally,
Oh gosh.
totally. And that was the attitude in court. I was just there as a body in court, a
Mm.
significant individual. I
So if
bear
you was to
no
say,
interest.
if you could identify the failings of what happened in your case, what
Yeah.
what would you say? Right.
Well, the failings. I mean, I'm at a loss for words for that one, and I think it will take more than just our time slot to do this. We'll need a sequel to this interview.
With a pen and a paper and
Yes,
petition going outside there and
yes,
demanding change within the justice system for
yes.
sure.
Oh, I can identify the biggest issue with this. The, the secret courts, the fact that you are not able to be to be sat in front of a jury of your peers, you know,
Mm.
especially if you're going to treat you like a damn criminal. If they're going to make a decision where they're going to, in my case, punish my daughter because my team or whoever was assisting me stood up to the judge because we recognized that she was overstepping her jurisdiction, and she
Mm.
hated the fact that we pointed this out to her, and as a result, she decided that, oh, I'm going to make an example of your ass. I'm going to teach you who is boss in here.
So do you think that is the reason why you lost your child was
Yes,
because of ego maybe?
yes. And I was still breastfeeding my daughter, and they
Okay.
knew this. They
Wow.
knew this. And what was interesting is that, prior to all of this, the ex tried to, put in applications to have her, full custody of her. And, at the time, this was before things sort of got out of hand. And, they would say, oh, I'm sorry, but, that's not the type of case. They would tell him that this is not how it works. And, also I've had interviews by social workers and and people who would have done their background checks within the council, and they'll say, well, listen, we can't find anything wrong with Miss Wood's parenting. There is just nothing wrong, so we can't essentially, they'd say, well, the report in summary would say, listen, we can't side with the judge's motives here. And I think this sort of incensed the judge. Again, it didn't help her. There were people she was trying to get to try and trying to mar me, to discredit me, and essentially, you know what's the word? I'm looking for the word disrepute. Put me in disrepute.
Yeah.
And yes, and so she found other means, and I think her guns for hire, so to speak, was Kafka's. That was her tool. And that's the situation. And and the Kafkas, and also the dodgy psychologists. You just like how you've also pointed out how they tried to make you seem as if you were incompetent or unfit. And they did try this with me, and I managed to, do some research of my own and realize that the psychologist wasn't someone who was acting legitimately. And armed with this information, I was able to, file a crime report against this man, and managed to get even again a crime reference number, not an incident reference number, crime reference number, two different things.
Yeah.
The time the police recognized that the man wasn't who he said he was. For example, he would claim in writing that his business address was in Croydon. And then when I checked out where the business address was, it was actually a dentistry, a Polish dentistry. And
No.
he didn't appear on the HSPCC website or something like. So I can't remember if I'm getting the letter right.
Registered. Yeah.
Yes, yes. You wouldn't find I couldn't find information like that about him. And then coincidentally, when I flagged this up to their administrators, all of a sudden you see they hurry up and they quickly put things online, and sorting it out real quick, just to make it look all yes.
No, I'm so sorry.
So,
And as well, for the purpose of the Mama Knows Best
yes.
show, as well, is that this is Mel's experience. We know that loads of different people go through the system and have different experiences, but Mel's experience, she's speaking of hers, especially with the Kafkas and the psychologists. And this is what Mama Knows Best is about your wisdom from your experience. Just, and what as well, Mel, it's startling to hear that my last interviewee, Corinne, who also talked about the injustice and what she went through, there's very startling similarities
Mhm,
between what you're saying and what she's saying,
mhm,
especially about the support or the lack of, and the abuse that happens between services.
mhm.
So I'm really, so would you say that it was, did the judge see your willingness to stand up for yourself as a defiance against her? And would you say that was the,
Yes, yes. The answer is yes. The very short answer to that is yes, yes. That's what that essentially that's what it was. Yes.
and you would say you was just sticking up for yourself and wanting to have your daughter back
Listen, that's it. Or I wanted to protect her. I wanted to keep her because I could see what they could do. I could see a pattern, and I could also envision what the end result was going to be, even though they weren't putting it in paper, black and white. Their actions in court and the way how they treated me and communicated with me, I could tell, that there was so much, animosity, and there was so much,
home?
resentment coming from the court that I knew. I
Yeah,
knew. I knew. And they also knew how to get under my skin for a reaction. They were very good at that.
gosh, Mel.
Yeah.
So could you point out anything that you feel that triggered that type of reaction in court, or between, where it seems like to me this whole fight wasn't necessarily even between you and the partner, it became
Exactly.
you
It
and the
wasn't. It really
institution. Yeah.
wasn't. No, he faded into insignificance at some point. He simply was an instrument. That's
Yeah.
all. He simply served as an instrument.
And
And
why do you think that
you know,
is? Why would they do that?
power, power. Wanted to exert power and force. Wanted to let me know that I was a nobody. It's simple. They wanted me to know that I was essentially a threat. If I was to, if I was successful through my protest, then
Mm.
I would have set a precedent. And if I'd set that precedent, of course, other people will know about it. Then the chain reaction of people knowing and seeing the system for what it is, would
Yeah.
then the whole thing will then fall apart because people would come in there and they would be exercising their rights.
Yeah.
They would hate that. Eventually, they'll all be out of a job.
Yeah.
So they can't afford for somebody who is asking the right questions to win.
Mm. Wow. So if
Yeah.
there was another woman going through this right
Mm.
now, what would you say? What would you say to actually help her on that journey and guide her through it? And you know,
I have some very interesting ideas since then. In hindsight, I was able to glean quite a lot of information, and also to I was able
wow, would definitely get Mel back. Absolutely heroic, I would say. And Mel still does not have her child back. Her child left at 2 years old, and now she is 5 years old. And Mel is still on that journey to actually fight for her child as well. Bring Mel back on as well with us. Mel, I'm really, really like my heart, Mel, because I know that your baby is not with you right now. So you're
yeah.
still in this space.
Yep. Essentially, yes. So my advice, again, trying to complete that answer, my advice to someone going through all of this is to assess whether or not it's really wise to engage in the first place. Now, you could be getting letters. Let's say you get an initial letter from the court and they start sending you all these goddamn letters, yeah? The moment you respond, you've accepted liability and you have accepted that, yes, now you're contracting with them.
Oh,
My advice is like, I don't know if people are familiar with the film called Transport, with that English actor, and he has a set of rules, when dealing with a client,
yeah.
and the rule number one is no names. Yeah.
Yes.
According to that, I now have rules that I live by in my life. Rule number one:
Yeah.
don't engage.
Oh,
Don't
wow.
engage, man. It's very simple. Don't engage. Yeah? Because at the end of the day, if you are if you've got your children are not in danger, you're not causing harm to your children, they have no case against you. They can't, because what would be their evidence?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if they keep on sending you letters, ignore it. Don't engage. You are exercising your rights to family life and privacy.
Oh, wow. Now.
Don't engage.
Oh, wow.
The moment you engage, you accepting contract. And that's a whole different conversation, it's a different topic. You are accepting to contract with these people because if you look on it, if you really assess how things work in this world, everything is all about contracting.
Yeah.
Everything is all about contracting. There is implied contracting. There is uh, implied agreement, rather implied agreement. You have bilateral contract. You have unilateral contract.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
laws of contract.
Yeah.
It's an interesting world to explore.
Yeah.
And
So,
contracts cannot be legal or lawful if two parties don't agree. So the moment you turn up to the court, now you've got two parties agreeing.
yeah.
Don't engage.
Wow. So what, but what if you're, so there was a point where, as you said,
Yeah,
your partner, he took your baby and he wasn't
yeah.
bringing her back. So then how would you have resolved all of this? Do we not need would you not need this system to actually help you? Would you say that your case is an unfortunate one and it works, or is, have you, what would you do if you need the help? Your baby's gone. What do you do?
Girl, your guess is as good as mine. I am now stuck again because I've exhausted the avenue of, for example, the ombudsman. Yeah, the parliamentary ombudsman.
Yeah.
They weren't very helpful at all, and they dragged on the case a lot, despite the fact that I used to insist that the matter was urgent. It took nearly a year to
Uh-huh.
even get a final conclusion,
Yeah.
and they refused to help. The judiciary, what do you call them, the JCO conduct authority, the judiciary conduct authority, something. I haven't been in this world for a very long time, so I've
Yeah.
I don't remember the different institutes, but they're not helpful either, because the
Mhm.
criteria in which you can complain about the conduct of a judge doesn't make any sense. It's like
Yeah.
there's no point complaining anyway in the end. And the Ministry of Justice, they're another set as well. I went there,
Yeah.
again, another dead end. They wouldn't confirm that the cases were actually legitimate.
Yeah.
And it's all sorts of things. I made inquiries about the legitimacy of some of the cases that were existing, and it turns out that the case numbers didn't even exist on their files.
Mm.
And
Oh,
it goes on and on. Again, the this whole situation again. Um,
yeah.
it's not just me. It's not just me. The
Yeah.
system is designed to fail. Okay, it's designed to
Mm.
fail, and um, and I don't think there is any help or support whatsoever in
Yeah.
the private, may I say, the secret family court system. And that's why it's convenient for them to keep it secret, because they can do anything they want.
Oh my gosh.
Today, a woman can go in, and yes, she might be the odd few who might get what she wants. Okay, if she plays it right, if she don't ask any questions, if and if she's just happy to jump through all the hoops like a little flying monkey, and they
Mm.
say, oh, you do this and you do that. If you want this, you must join this sort of group, and they keep on passing on your data to different bodies without your damn consent, and without even, without a legitimate reason to. Is they're just sharing money, business amongst
Yeah.
their friends.
Yeah.
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 So
Gosh.
no. So the
Yeah.
short answer is no. Can we rely on them? Absolutely not.
And I'm actually sat here because I've been through my court
Yeah.
proceeding. So, you know, as a host, I'll be saying, well, and we have to say that, we make
Yes.
room, make sure we've got our disclaimers. But for my own
Sure.
personal experience,
Yeah.
I understand what you're talking about in the sense of
Yeah.
me, it was just a paper exercise, and each
Mm.
paper exercise, I had to pay money. And at
Mm.
the end of it, I thought, you know what? My wisdom from that experience was
Mhm.
have to be amicable between you and your ex-partner. And you have to definitely see that it's the children that are the ones of interest. And no matter what happens, we have to build a foundation to parent them in the best
Mm.
way going forward. Because
Quite.
I hear what you're saying in the sense of
Yes.
I didn't feel protected in that I didn't have the support within that whole system.
Mm.
If it was a case of my ex wanted to take my children, there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing I could do. And he lives abroad. So, when
Mm-hmm.
I did go away, I pray to God that they came back, because I know
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing I could do. So
Yeah.
then my wisdom is, people have breakup, people have relationships, things happen, but we have to actually keep our eye on the children, and their well-being. And and anyone out there, just please just be amicable between yourselves, and just know that we're all on our experience. But even talking about your experience as well, Mel, that so you've gone through this horrific ordeal and still going through it.
Mm.
It is an expensive journey of going
Correct.
back and researching and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually, amazed to say, on your journey you found Forex to actually help,
Mm-hmm.
kind of help build, your financial, you know, um, to gain independence, to be able to continue battle, continue to go through it. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's really amazing that, you've gone through this and you've found a solution, and now you're actually trading, and this trading is in part helping you with your battle. Tell me more about
Mm-hmm.
trading.
Sure. So now, this opportunity essentially has given me hope.
Yeah.
Okay, it has given me an opportunity to have a glimpse of what my life can be like. Okay, so the possibilities I see is endless.
Mm,
Now, the beauty about this opportunity is that you as an individual don't have to know how to trade, okay, because there are professionals who are trading on your behalf. The platform is basically leveraged through using a intelligent bot system. It's
yeah.
automated, yeah, and they call it a proprietary system. And so this affords us the opportunity to just invest our money and watch it grow.
Yeah.
Now, this is again new. At one point it took me a little while to fully comprehend what the potential of
Yeah.
this opportunity is. And as I got to learn more about it, I think to myself, hang on a minute, this is really good. People need to know about this. This is, people need to have access to this. Now, what's good again about it is that it's free to be a part of. It's free and there is no, reoccurring cost
Yeah.
from you. There's no monthly registration or anything like that. And also the other good thing about it is, if you actually would like to learn how to trade, there
Yeah.
are online academy packages available on the platform where you can learn about trading for yourself on your own. And there's also webinars itself as well. You'll have access to all of those. So it's brilliant. It's fantastic. And you can introduce people,
Yeah.
and the company incentivizes you. That's one other way you can sort of add to your earning, or you can just invest and let it sit there,
Oh,
and in your own time you can withdraw your money if you want,
yeah.
and or you can continue investing.
So I know it's a
Yeah.
silly question, but you've actually
Yeah.
made money through this. You've,
Yes, I have, because as I said, I needed to see it working,
yeah,
and yes, and to my amazement and immense pleasure, it does work. So yes, I have made money. I've and it's been useful
yeah.
for monthly expenses, etc.
Mm,
So yeah, absolutely.
my gosh. So you said that
Yeah.
is quite I don't. If I was to join and to do, I love the way
Yeah,
how that
yeah,
through your experience,
yeah,
you found this, and this is a way of empowering you to continue to do your
yes,
battle, and as you said,
yeah,
to go through this. Um, just you, you don't have to do anything, so you kind of it's like a savings account. It sounds like, or
yes,
yeah.
yes. Essentially, it's like a savings account, but better. And I tell you why it's better. For example, let me ask you this and the audience, and please do pitch in with your answers. But I
Mhm.
can almost guess what the answer is going to be to my question. Does your bank ever pay out 1 to 3%, yeah, on interest daily, tax free on your savings? I
Nope.
don't know. And this platform does that. You see money coming in every Saturday. Of course, it's trading, so trading only happens from Monday to Friday. So you'll see your outcome or your payment on your trading pool by Saturday. So every Saturday you are getting return on your investment.
Yeah.
Last month, last month's total percentages amount was 25.88. But of course, past results doesn't guarantee, the future results or outcome. So obviously, the market goes up and down. But when it's up, I guarantee you want to be in the game. You'd like,
Ooh.
yeah, you'd
So
want to
would
be in the
you
game.
say that this is a way,
Yeah,
this has empowered you, and you think that it could empower other women that possibly, going through something that you're going through, needing to actually
yeah,
make the income while they're, or even just anyone to be making extra earnings? Would
yeah.
you, is this an empowering, opportunity?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of people who are, managing to raise some money, and sometimes, they may have inherited money, or perhaps they may have been gifted,
Yeah.
and this is where they've been putting their money rather than in the banks. People are avoiding the headaches. I mean, of investing in properties, although properties is also a good way of investing your money. But of course, to get that going can be quite challenging at times. It has its drawbacks,
Yeah.
when opposed to this system, you essentially make a deposit, and you wait 3 working days after your deposit has been successful for trading to start on your investment, and then Bob's your uncle. Yeah,
Wow. Oh my God,
yeah,
it's amazing. And we're going through, I understand we're going to a digital age, and you
yeah,
know, I don't know, Forex. I've kind of,
yeah,
hearing a lot about Forex lately, and
yeah,
I actually haven't got a clue what it is other than
yeah.
that I hear it's trading. I kind of see the lines, and you hear stock market, and so what is it? What is
No, I don't know nothing about that either, but I'm making my money, and I'm good.
that is absolutely amazing. So in terms of, because when I first heard your story and the
Yeah,
connection between Forex and your experience, and how you
yeah,
actually use that to leverage time and leverage freedom to actually
yeah,
pursue you getting your daughter back. So that was,
yes,
I've never seen a connection like that. I'm a forex
yeah,
trader, to leverage
yeah,
my time to be
yes,
free to actually
yes,
go and pursue the battle in
indeed.
getting my child back.
Yeah, yeah. It's the
That's
beginning of my journey. It is the beginning, and I'm liking what I see so far. It's
that
it's the future is bright.
that's excellent. So would you say, would you recommend, if I wanted to do you know, put some money aside and save? Would you
Yes,
recommend that's a sort of thing that you recommend to your girlfriends and your family and
yeah,
friends? It's working?
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I was at a restaurant this afternoon in Kennington. I was, sitting with an associate of mine who is an architect,
Yeah.
and his name's Luca.
Yeah.
And so during our little chat, our lovely waiter, Jodelle, her name's Jodelle. I hope she doesn't mind me, you know, mentioning her name. But Jodelle, a lovely woman, her background's Trinidadian, and she is a young lady. She's in her 20s, and she's studying to become a lawyer. She's her area. She's exploring all areas at the moment. So yes, and so I was chatting to her, and she was asking me a little bit more, what I'm involved with and things. So in conversation, I told her about the Forex, and she was excited about it. Her eyes lit up. She said, "Yes, you know what, Mel? I've always wanted. I keep hearing about this Forex thing, but I have no idea what to do, how to get involved." I said, "Listen, if you're happy for me to do this and to show you, would that be okay?" She said, "Absolutely." She was great. She whipped out the napkin, snatched my pen from my hand and put her number down. I said, she said, "Please make sure you're in touch with me this afternoon, and let's get this ball rolling."
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely recommend it. And yeah, and people are already curious, and
Yeah.
they
Definitely.
they are interested. And as you've pointed out, a lot people want to get on with their lives, and they want to have various source of income, and
Yeah.
one like this where it's passive,
Yeah.
and you don't have to be, it doesn't rob you of time.
Yeah.
And it's good that you don't have to exchange your time for
Yeah.
money, like a principle suggested in one of Robert Kiyosaki's book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. He speaks of making your money, or using your money rather, as an employee.
Yeah.
You make your money work for you. This is like a no-brainer, you know.
Amazing.
So yeah,
That's
that's
amazing.
my answer.
That's excellent. Because I've always wanted to
Yeah,
get involved in something like that, and everyone's on their journey and
yeah,
their quests for financial freedom, or even to understand how to make your money work for you, and
yeah,
have we need currency to to
yeah,
to live in this world.
yes,
So
yes.
to be able to do it in a way where, do you say it's tax free? Is that what you said?
Yes, it's tax free. And another lovely thing I like about this platform, nobody's got to see your stuff. And you don't, it's private.
Mm.
The banks don't have jurisdiction over your thing. And, it's like having a private offshore account.
Oh wow! Because
I say no more.
is it because is the system kind of see it in the same way as the betting kind of arena, the gambling?
I
That's
would,
why
no,
they're
I wouldn't.
so taxable.
I avoid making any association to
Yeah.
gambling and this platform, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah. Wow, she was just getting to the nugget of that, definitely. But one thing that she did say as well, that it is tax free, and it is kind of, in a space where well, I don't even know. I was going to say we definitely find out more about it. And Mel's definitely joining us again. We're going. I think that's the third time, but I'm so glad she's back with us. But that was so interesting to find out. Like, we have to make sure it's all safe. So Mel, it's a safe bet.
Yes.
This is a normal thing. It's not against the law or anything, is it, Mel? Is it against the
No,
law, or is it?
no, not at all. Not
Okay.
at all. Not at all. Not at all. They have their regulatory bodies, and
Yeah,
and this is EverFX, and also EverFX still has to be monitored again by FCA, for
that,
example.
yeah,
So
good. Yeah,
our backs are covered. Our backs
that's
are covered.
great. And then you said there's an academy or somewhere that you could learn on the platform about it. It teaches
Yes,
you. That's is there
yes.
is there any age?
You can
Could
also
could I get my
you
young
also
son
have
to learn about it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And because again, the academy, the online academy training is there, it's available.
Mm.
And also in the back office, you can get to see live trading.
Yeah.
So you will see what your money is being traded on, and and how it's happening. So yeah,
Wow. So can I use it as a
total transparency.
savings account for
Yes,
my child, my children?
yeah,
And when
yes,
they get
yes,
older,
you could.
it's like that's your, and it compounds over time. So if I leave my money in there, would they be trading on the money that I've actually earned in that month?
No. So it doesn't work on compounding interest.
Okay.
Okay? It only works you only earn on your trade amount or your
Okay.
trading pool. So this again can be explained further on, perhaps in a different segment.
Yeah.
But yes, so this yes, yes. So it's only your trading pool or your trade amount is what you keep on earning your interest on. What your interest is a separate amount.
Yeah. The money that you
So
make.
yeah, it's just money that you make. That's
Yeah.
it. And so what happens is now, because if the system was working on compounding interest and so forth, it would fall apart. Okay,
Okay.
like many other similar platforms in the past, it will fall apart, but in
Mm.
this way it's more sustainable. So what happens is, once you've acquired, yeah, your
Yeah.
2%, 200% rather, return on your investment, your contract. Yes, 200%. That's right. So your 200% return on your investment. Once you've reached that point, you have two options here. You can either upgrade your academy package, or you can withdraw your money and do whatever you want with it. And that's it. What a lot of people tend to do is, at this point they've realized that the system works, it's consistent, it's reliable, there's total transparency. They carry on because they become comfortable, and that's it. And they
Oh,
just keep on going. And at this point, usually they see the opportunity, they see the potential, and they start to share the information with their family, and then that's how it goes.
Mel, you are a hero, absolute hero. And the way
Thank
how
you.
and the
Thank
idea
you.
of leveraging your
Yeah.
time using Forex to
Yeah.
continue your battle
Yes.
to get your child back. I am
Indeed. Yes.
absolutely, in awe to be in your, in your space and having time to go through this conversation with
Thank
you.
you.
And I wish, like, my heart is with you. Whatever I can do,
Yeah.
whatever anyone could do that's out there as well to help Mel on her journey to, this is a 3-year journey now that your daughter's been away from you. 3 years.
Correct. Correct.
3.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anything that anyone could do, Mel is here and on her journey. And Mel, from everyone from Mama Knows Best and everyone who's watching, we send our love, our prayers with you, our support. And I'm sorry that you're going through this, but you're
Yeah.
not even but and you are a hero, and keep
Thank you very
going.
much.
And
Thank you.
we want to
Thank you.
definitely stay in tune with your story, with your experience, and anything you learn to be able to, share with others, and anything that, we've got to help, we're here as well, Mel. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Yeah. And continue. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Definitely. And is there any
And
last
thanks for
word?
having me.
Definitely. And as well, if anyone wanted to understand a bit more about the Forex and get involved or get in contact with Mel, there's a link in the description box, and you'll be able to speak to her, find out, how she leverages her time to continue, on her journey. And the same way that you as well, anybody can, to be able to use Forex as a way of you know, earning. So thank you, Mel. Thanks for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Janir. Thank you.
That-
Thank you.
God bless you. Wow, absolutely amazing. I was just speaking to Mel, and yes, and she's there, she's just there. And I'm speaking to Mel, and how amazing was her story? OMG. My heart goes with her, my prayers are with her, and definitely she is on her journey. And wow, really, really, really heroic. And for anyone who's going through anything like this, or have been through anything like this, you can definitely as well contact Mel. And I know Corinne from our last interview, from her experience, she managed to change legislation, and she's still going through her, battle to make changes within the systems. So it shows that there's definitely reform needed within the whole family court system, especially if there's so many women and men possibly crying out to say, it was unjust and there was no support for me, and I no longer have my children with me, and there's nothing that I can actually do. Mel has highlighted many things within this interview, and anyone who's going through it as well, my love is with you, and our support here at Mama Knows Best is with you. It was amazing how Mel was able to use Forex to leverage her time to continue to fight for her child. And that's, for me, that's genius. Free your time to do what you need to do. So I'm definitely going to find out more about this Forex thing with Mel. Descriptions in the box as well, if you want to learn anything else about her story, as well as the Forex that she's explaining, and what's enabled her to free her time and to actually earn while she's on her journey. Mel, ooh, love you, girl. Thank you so much. And definitely sending you all the love in the universe for you and your child and the situation, for God to put a hand over it and to be able to, allow it to be peacefully resolved and resolved between you and your partner, ex-partner, forgive me. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on the Mama Knows Best show. And definitely join us as well at mamaknowsbest.com. In there, you'll be able to join up to our newsletter, find out exactly what is going on, and to stay in tuned. And just like I've shared my story, I believe there's healing in sharing. So if you have a story that you want to share as well, or your experience and the wisdom that comes from that, definitely go to the Mama Knows Best platform, mamaknowsbest.com, and you could join in and you could see part of my
Welcome
journey.
to Mama Knows Best. I'm Chinia, and I've lived in Poshville for many years, even had a successful music career. But after a divorce, 2 children, no home, no money, there's no place I'd rather be than my childhood home in Moss Side. With no manual to life and no manual to motherhood, I'm on a quest to get real answers from real men and real women, and watch how we fix it. Follow the docu-series where I open my world and share my experiences and get other people involved to actually help me on my journey of self-discovery and motherhood. These stories of the heart and soul aim to help and inspire, and just to know that we're not alone. So make sure you subscribe to our newsletter and also keep updated with everything that Mama Knows Best is doing with the podcast, the radio show, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Welcome to Mama Knows Best.
Mama Knows Best, celebrating every woman's strength, purpose, and potential by sharing online and on radio.
Mama Knows Best, celebrating every woman's strength, purpose, and potential through sharing online and on radio. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Definitely make sure you join me on the Mama Knows Best show every single Sunday. And we've also got our radio show as well, where we're live on our FM station 90.1 Legacy, and we have our Mama Knows Best radio station where we share, we talk, we explore, we learn. So thank you so much for your time, and continue to supporting and sharing and supporting each other. Bye now. Mel, thank you so much for joining us.